Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. World Cup 2018 is almost here. It will kick off in Russia in a few days. So today I'm gonna show you my World Cup predictions. Just wanna mention one thing before I start my predictions. Last World Cup in Brazil, I did predict Germany and Argentina in the final. So who knows, I might be lucky again. Okay, let's start with Group A. Russia will be kicking off against Saudi Arabia. Even though Russia hasn't been doing well in the friendlies, I think they'll just about win this game by one goal, 2-1. The next game, Egypt against Uruguay. Egypt is missing their big player, Mo Salah, due to the injury in the Champions League final. That will definitely hurt him. He's predicted to miss the first game, I think. And of course with Uruguay having Suarez and Cavani, so I predict 2-0 Uruguay. Now in the second game, Russia against Egypt. I think Russia will be more confident in this game, and also we're still not sure if Mo Salah will be able to play in this game. There's the latest news that he might not play in the first two games, so that will definitely hurt Egypt. I think Uruguay will comfortably beat Saudi Arabia 4-0. In third game of the group, Uruguay will face Russia. I think Uruguay will go ahead and be winning 2-0, and then Russia will tie the game at 2-2. And of course the game against Saudi Arabia and Egypt, hopefully Egypt will get Salah back and he could make a difference, help win the last game, but I don't think it's gonna be enough for Egypt to advance. So out of this group I predict Uruguay get the first place and then Russia second. Now let's move to Group B. In this group, I predict Iran, who I think might be the surprise team of the tournament, will get the first place. They have a good defense, and Azamoun, who plays in Russia, is one of their best attacker. I think he'll be very crucial for Iran in this tournament. I predict that they will beat 2-0 Morocco. Now Portugal against Spain. Portugal, I think their defense is just a little bit weak. A lot of old guys, Pepe, Bruno Alves and Fonte, they're all in their 30s. Also Cristiano Ronaldo is getting pretty old too, so I think Spain has enough to beat Portugal in the first game. In the second game of the group, I think Iran will be able to pull off a tie against Spain, and Morocco could get a point out of Portugal game. I think in the last game of the group, Iran will beat Portugal 2-1. I think Iran's coach Carlos, he's a Portuguese, will help him to beat his countrymen Spain and Morocco 2-2. I think Spain will probably struggle in this tournament. They do have some young players like Isco, Asensio up front, but I think they will miss Morato. I think Diego Costa will not be able to perform that well in this tournament for Spain. Now let's move to Group C. Here I predict France to get first place and Denmark second place. Usually in the World Cups hosted by European teams, South American teams, they don't do that well, so that's the reason I picked Denmark ahead of Peru. So in the first game, I think France will comfortably beat Australia. I think Australia just doesn't have that class to compete with France. Their main forward, Cahill, he's 38, so they might have problems up front. Peru against Denmark, I think Denmark just gonna pass by Peru with one goal. They done really well on the last friendly game against Mexico, 2-0, so I think it'll carry on against Peru game. Now in the second game of the group, I think France will comfortably win 4-2, and Denmark, that'll be a close game, 2-1. Maybe Cahill get a goal for Australia. In game 3, I think both Denmark and France might rest some of their big players, so I predict 1-1. And last game for Peru and Australia, I think Peru with attacking players like Forfan, Paulo Guerrero, Christian Cueva will be too much for Australia to handle, so I predict 4-1 for Peru. Now let's move to Group D, where I predict Argentina win all the games, get 9 points, and Croatia second place. In first game of the group, I think it's gonna be hard for Iceland to stop Argentina, especially it's their first game in the World Cup. This kind of reminds me a little bit of from 2014 World Cup, where Argentina faced Bosnia in the first match and Argentina was able to pass Bosnia, so I predict same thing here against Iceland. Now let's go down to Croatia. Croatia, I think, will be able to beat Nigeria 2-1. They showed that in the last friendly against Senegal, that they can play well against African teams. In the second game of the group, I think it'll be close game with Argentina and Croatia, but I think Argentina just have way too many players, and plus Messi factor will help them win 1-0. Now Nigeria against Iceland, I predict a 1-1 score. And then the last game of the group, Argentina will face Nigeria just like they did in the last World Cup, and I think they will win comfortably 3-1. Iceland-Croatia, this will be a close game, but I think Croatia just has enough to win this game. They met each other in the qualification round, so They know each other pretty well. Now let's move on to Group E, where I predict Brazil getting first place and Serbia second. And first group, I think Serbia has very good defense with Ivanovic, Kolarov, and also Mitrovic up front, so it'll be very tough for Costa Rica, and I predict Serbia to win 1-0. And Brazil against Switzerland, I think Brazil will win 3-1. Switzerland does have some good players, but in the last Euro they did not impress me. They kind of look boring sometimes. Serbia and Switzerland, I'm probably going for Serbia. It'll be a good matchup between two European teams, but I think Serbia has good enough defense to overcome Switzerland, and I think the score is going to be 2-0. Brazil, I think, will comfortably beat Costa Rica 2-0. And then the last game of the group, I think Brazil will beat Serbia 1-0 and Switzerland tie with Costa Rica. Now let's move to Group F, where I predict Germany getting first place and Mexico just have enough to pass Sweden and South Korea to get second place. So in the first game, Germany and Mexico will face each other, and I think Germany just will be too powerful, but I think it'll be a close game. So 3-2 is the score that I predict. And Switzerland, South Korea, I think Sweden will score a goal and will beat South Korea. South Korea, they do have some good players, like Son, who plays for Tottenham, but I watched some highlights of their couple of late friendly games and they didn't perform that well, so I think they will struggle in this group. Now second game of the group, Germany-Sweden. I think Germany will score 2 goals. And Mexico against South Korea, I think it's 3-1. Mexico does has a couple of young players who could shine in this tournament and score some important goals for Mexico, and then also in this game against Korea. In the third game of the group, Germany will face Korea, and with 6 points I think they'll probably put their reserve team, will rest some of their best players. But I think even the reserve team could easily beat South Korea, so I predict 2-1. And of course the Mexico-Sweden game will be deciding for the second spot. Mexico will get enough to pass by Sweden, so I predict 3-2. Now let's move to Group G. Here I predict Belgium getting first place, England second, Tunisia third, and Panama fourth. In the first game, Belgium against Panama, I predict 4-0. I think Panama's first World Cup match, it will be tough for them, especially against a team like Belgium, who has a lot of good attacking players like Eden Hazard, Lukaku, De Bruyne. And Tunisia, England, I think it's gonna be a draw 2-2. I think England will start this tournament slowly, so I predict 2-2 against Tunisia. Now let's go to the second game, Belgium against Tunisia. Again, Belgium just gonna be too powerful for Tunisia, especially Tunisia is missing their best player for injury. And England 3-1 against Panama. And then down in the last game, England will face Belgium. I predict 1-1, should be a good game. And Panama against Tunisia, I predict Tunisia to win 2-1. Now let's move to Group H. Colombia, I predict that will get first place in the group. Senegal from Africa, I predict that they get second place. And Poland, I think, will be a little bit short to get that second spot. And of course Japan is last in the group. So first game, I think Senegal will beat Poland 2-0. I think Senegal is a very balanced team. They have Sané, plays for Liverpool up front, and a couple of good midfielders, also a defender that plays for Napoli. So I predict them to beat Poland. I think Poland will struggle in this tournament. Lewandowski usually struggles in these tournaments for Poland, and of course he doesn't have a same support as he does in Bayern Munich. And Colombia, I think, will comfortably win 3-0 against Japan with Falcao, James Rodriguez, Baca, and a couple of other good players. Now in the second game, I think Japan will hold off Senegal 1-1, and Colombia will finish off 2-1 with Poland. And the last game of the group, Poland will come through and win 3-1 against Japan, and Senegal 1-1 against Colombia, as both teams advance to the next round. And I'll continue the knockout prediction FIFA bracket challenge site. Here are my final group's results. Let's go to the knockout stage. Round of 16, Uruguay against Spain. I think Spain will just pass by Uruguay. Should be an interesting game, but I think Spanish possession game will be tough for Uruguay to match. France-Croatia should be another good game. Two teams met in the 1998 World Cup where France won, so I predict same in this match. Brazil-Mexico. Mexico has not advanced to the quarterfinals, I think, since 1986. I think it'll continue, so I'm picking Brazil to go to quarterfinals. Belgium against Senegal. I think Belgium will have too much attacking flair for Senegal to control, so I'll pick Belgium to go to the quarterfinals. And then Iran, Russia. I think both might be surprising teams of the tournament, but I think Russia as a home nation will progress to the quarterfinals. I think the final score might be 1-1, and then Russia will advance on penalty kicks because they have a Akinfeev, who's a very good goalie, that could help push Russia to the quarterfinals. Argentina, Denmark. I'm picking Argentina to go through. Again, Argentina has just too many options up front. That should be enough for them to advance to quarterfinals. Germany, Serbia. Going with Germany. The last game of round of 16, Colombia against England. Here I think England will advance and should be interesting match in the quarterfinals. England, Germany. Now let's move to quarterfinals. Spain, France. Here I'll predict France to move to semifinals. Again, they have a lot of good players, very balanced team in defense, midfield and forward. Players like Kante, Pogba, Griezmann, Giroud will be too much for Spain to handle. Now Brazil, Belgium. I'm picking Brazil. I think Neymar and Nico will do enough to advance to semifinals. Now here I think that's where Russia's run will stop at quarterfinals and Argentina will advance to the semifinals. I'm predicting 3 or 4-0 score in this game, Russia versus Argentina. Germany, England. A lot of history between these two teams. I think it might go into penalty kicks, and of course we know how England plays when they go in extra time on penalty kicks, so I predict Germany to beat them on penalty kicks and advance to semi-final. Okay, so semi-finals. France-Brazil should be a mouth-watering game. They also have a lot of history, but last 20 years, anytime the France and Brazil face off each other in the tournaments, France came on top, so I think in this game it's gonna be same thing. So I predict France to go to the final. And Argentina, Germany. This was the teams from last World Cup final, and same thing here. Argentina in last 20 years has not been able to beat Germany in these tournaments. I think this might be Argentina's time to shine, so I'm predicting Messi and the company advance to the final. So now in the final, France against Argentina will face off each other. We know France failed to win the Euro in 2016 against Portugal, so they had the recent failure in the finals. Same thing with Argentina. They've been struggling too in the last 3 finals. One was the World Cup final that they lost, and 2 Copa America finals. But I think on this day, Messi factor will play a huge part for Argentina to be the champions. So I predict Argentina and finally Messi to win the World Cup in Russia. I'm hoping that Messi will finally be able to lift this trophy for his country. After winning the World Cup, Messi will be able to answer his critics that still doubt that he's the best player in the world. Come on, Messi! You can do it!